So in this episode today, we're going to be talking all about pumping. This is the Spectra S2 pump model, but this video is going to be applicable for any type of pump. The general consensus is pretty much the same, whether you have a Spectra, a Medela, a Lanzano. There are so many pumps out there, so many pump options, including portable options. So we will touch on this as well, when to use these, when not to use these, and how these can affect your supply. So if you're interested in any of that, stick around. We're gonna jump right in. This is the Spectra S2, and you can see how big this is. This is a clunky dunky pump, but it is a good pump. This is the pump that you want to be using freshly postpartum. Not necessarily this pump, but a hospital grade, hospital suction. You're plugging it into the wall, big motor, big strong motor. This is what you want to be using, especially in those first 6 weeks postpartum. Try, please, 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 try to avoid using these portable options. I know these are so convenient and they're easier to clean, they're portable, you can do a million things while you're pumping, but these can have very damaging effects on mom's milk supply. This, of course, is better than not pumping at all. And if using a portable option is the only way you're going to be getting a pump session in, use them. But if you can, try to use the hospital grade pump. Ultimately, the suction is better, the motor is better, you're going to get better output, and it's going to really increase that milk supply, especially in those first few weeks postpartum. So let's talk specifically about this pump model. A lot of moms have the Spectra, so I figured this would be a good video to make. A lot of moms also have questions about how to work it, what settings to put it in, how do I know if I'm pumping the right way? So we're gonna cover all that. So the first thing you wanna do is plug this one in. Unfortunately, the pink one, the S2 model, is not battery powered, but the S1 model, which is the blue one, it looks just like this, does have a battery operated feature. This one has to be plugged in. So once you plug it in, you're gonna turn it on. And I love the Spectra pump. I love this pump, but the one thing I do not love is that it goes automatically when you turn it on, it goes into expression mode, which is the mode you want to be pumping in, but that's not the mode you want to be in when you first turn the pump on and you're first initiating pumping. You want to be in stimulation mode, which is different than expression mode. So stimulation mode is exactly what it sounds like. It's stimulating the breast, it's stimulating that let down, which is where the milk is actually coming down and letting down out of your breast. And then you want to flip it into expression mode. So what's the difference, you might ask? So stimulation mode is going to be a quicker suck. It is mimicking baby at the breast. So that is the overall goal of pumping, right? Like to mimic baby at the breast. So when you turn it on, you have to flip it, hit that button that looks like bacon, that bacon button, to go into stimulation mode. This number on the far left is telling you how many times in a minute it is sucking. It's going to be 70 times in this stimulation mode. You'll also know you're in stimulation mode because you'll see the bacon icon up on top. So this is very quick, shallow sucking. It's going to stimulate your breast to get that milk flowing out. Once you hit that 2-minute mark, there's a clock in the middle that's counting your time. Once you hit that 2-minute mark, or if you start to see your milk flow prior to that 2-minute mark, flip it into expression mode. So to flip it, you just hit that bacon button again. And now we are in expression mode, which this is the mode you want to be in when you are pumping for your 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however long you're pumping. This is the mode you want to be in. You can adjust this mode. I have it set at 54, so that's telling me it's sucking 54 times in a 1-minute window. You can move it down all the way to 38, which is going to be a little bit slower. It's totally a preference thing. One setting is not better than the other. Like I said, you've got your clock in the middle, and then the number on the far right is your vacuum level. I think it goes all the way up to like 12. Okay, that's insane. Nobody should be pumping at a 12. If you're pumping at a 12, please see us. Usually a 6, 7, or 8 is good. The goal is to pump in the vacuum setting as high as you can without there being any pain or discomfort. So usually that's about a 6, 7, or 8, or it can go all the way down to a 1. This little button on your far right over here is your night light. So the handle will light up if you're doing those middle of the night pump sessions. So that's a general summary of the pump. How do I know all of my pieces are together? So this is what it will look like when you have everything assembled as it should be. This is your membrane. These are called the membranes. These prevent milk from flowing back into the tubing and in turn into the pump. This is your flange. And these come in many different sizes. So the diameter of this is going to be specific to you and the size of your nipple. So it's really, really, really so important that you have the proper size flange. That is going to be pivotal in how much milk output you get, your comfort level. It's so important. So make sure you are sized appropriately so you can know what flange size you need to be using. You can also lubricate these, so putting some organic coconut oil or nipple balm, whatever you have at home, just lubricating the inside of the tunnel makes pumping a little bit more pleasant. These are your duckbills. This is actually where the suction is being generated. So it's really important that you replace these every 3 to 6 months. It's also going to be kind of dependent on how often you're pumping, how much you're using your pump. But you want to see that this piece, I don't know if you can see it, that these two pieces, this valve is completely closed. So if you see even just a slight opening, you're going to want to replace them if you can see any of that opening. So it should look sealed. It looks like a duck's beak, which is why they're called duckbills. And then you've got your bottle, of course, and this just screws right on. So when you are done with pumping, you want to make sure you disassemble all of these parts and pieces. The membrane comes off into 3 pieces, like so, and wash all of these really good. So much fun washing pump parts, but I'll tell you a little hack. You can rinse these really good after you're done pumping. Rinse these really good, put them in a clean Ziploc bag, and they're good for 24 hours in the refrigerator. After that, they really need to be washed because you gotta wash your pump parts. So, portable options. This is what I personally have, the Lanzano pump. I love it. It's been great for me. I've had it for almost 12 months now. I specifically got this pump because the cup sizes hold a little bit more volume. These hold up to 9 ounces compared to the 4 to 5 ounce capacity in the Willow or the LV. I have had an oversupply with all 3 of my children, so this is what I personally have to use and love it. I have had no issues with it. These are great, the mom cozies, and there are so many other models that are similar to this where the motor is actually on top of the cup. So this is the motor. We love this because they're super easy. They're really portable. You can stick them in your purse, take them on the go. Love these options. But like I said before, you really want to avoid using these the first 6 weeks postpartum. And that's just because ultimately the suction is not as strong on these. Now the caveat to this is if you have one of the hybrid options. So if you've got a motor that looks like this and it can somehow connect to a cup like this, these are not compatible, but I'm just using this for demonstration. sometimes the pump, the tubing to this pump can go in here and connect. So in that situation, it would be more of a better option to use because your motor is still the good motor. So just be mindful of what motor you're using. Ultimately, that is why we worry so much about, you know, using the portable options and things like that really early postpartum. So I hope this video was helpful and you guys have a little bit more clarity on how to use the pump, what settings you want to be pumping in. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to help you along this journey. And until next time, and as always, I love you guys. Keep thriving.